a few weeks ago, I learned something that cracked me open and then crowned me. I found out that every single woman on my street, every single one of them had been talking bad about me behind my back, not just talking, but studying me, okay? Picking apart my clothes, my body, my dogs, my walks with my dogs, my energy, my podcast, my business, every single day for the last 7 months. And I found this out about 3 days ago. Okay. So I have some notes here because it's still raw. It's still fresh. And there's so many people that go through this. I knew we were going to be able to use this as a way to help ourselves. So buckle in, my friends. I'll be giving you the 411 and exactly how we do this. But then I realized something, and everything started to shift for me about this, because I'm going to tell you the first 2 days I was broken. But people don't gossip about powerless people. They gossip about the women that they secretly wish they could be. And jealousy is just obsession. And gossip is just worship, okay? And the more powerful you become, the more your very existence threatens the identity of people who stopped choosing themselves a long ass time ago. And so the initiation wasn't really an attack on me. It was an attack on them, just as much as what they're doing to you wasn't an attack on you. And today I'm going to show you the neuroscience of jealousy, the spiritual initiation behind being talked about, and the protocol for turning gossip into your next quantum timeline. So let's get into it while they're talking about us. This episode is about you and every moment in your life when you were misunderstood, mocked, excluded, judged, or targeted because your light activated someone else's shadow. And today I'm going to break it all down, all right? We're going to turn that gossip into your next quantum timeline. Welcome to Manifesting Miracles. I named this podcast Jealous, Petty, and Powerful as Fuck: How to Turn Their Gossip into Your Quantum Upgrade. So let's get started. You know, I moved into my dream home about 7 months ago. A miracle that I had manifested for several months after chaos of the hurricanes. It felt like I'd finally arrived. A new neighborhood, a new home, new friends, new timeline, new chapter. Yay. I befriended the neighbors. I love their children. We walk to the beach together every day at the end of the street. I have the park intercoastal in front of my house, and at the end of the street is the beach. We exchanged gifts together. I was invited to their Christmas parties, into their homes. And the whole time, they had a group chat about me. For 7 months. Come here, Baba. Wayne, come here. My dog really needs a little attention. So, and then the reveal, okay? So one woman finally pulled me aside and told me the truth. Every time I walked away, they desecrated me. They mocked me. They criticized me. They tore me apart. They called me names. They laughed at my clothes. They judged my body. They mocked my energy. They talked shit about my podcast. They talked shit about the people who follow me. It just went on for 7 months of fake smiles, warm greetings. They brought me presents on my birthday, and then that was mocked before and after. And imagine having to, the one person who finally revealed it to me, having to swallow it. And I know that you did too. And that's why we're going to figure this out together. And I got you, okay? So it broke me. It really did briefly. But then I had to remember who the fuck I am. and realized that their gossip had nothing to do with me. It had everything to do with what I and what you are activating within them. So let's talk about the neuroscience for 1 second. Let's talk about the brain, because your power activated their nervous system and they panicked because they're mirrored neurons, and like attracts like, so they can't criticize themselves. So who are they going to criticize? They didn't go after the life they wanted. They didn't make the choices that you're making. They didn't do the things that you're doing. And so let's talk about human mirror. They admire when somebody is criticizing you. It's really that, the best way that I could say is that you've activated something in them to trigger them to that extent. That's power. That's power. Okay. And when people can't be like you, they gossip about you, because honestly, if they talked about themselves, who would listen? And so let's talk about the brain. The human mirrors what they admire, even if they resent it. And when someone fixates on you, mocks you, analyzes you, their brain is actually trying to figure out, how did you do this? How do I be like you? They don't have the ability to ask, so they're just going to criticize and make fun of. And your brain is going like, wait a second, this doesn't sound right. So what is jealousy? Jealousy is just blocked admiration. And so we have this thing in our brain called the reticular activation system, or the RAS for short. And the reticular activation system is flagged, and it filters reality based on your identity. So when someone sees you as joyful or free or doing something that in their mind they could never understand it, it's the psychology of projection. So it's a projection that they're projecting onto you, all the negative things that they're saying. They just don't know how to be like you. And so their brain flags us as a threat. And then not because we are a threat, but because you challenge the identity that they've locked themselves into. So, for example, mean girl number one who lives right next door. She's literally a glorified Uber driver. She drives 45 minutes every day back and forth to take her children who, according to the neighbors, the teachers can't even remember. And now she's locked in this prison, this gilded cage, and in comes this shiny butterfly that's like, we're going to do it this way. You're that butterfly, okay? And so insecure people, what happens is that they do this trauma bonding together, right? So they have this shared contempt, which creates this false bonding. And insecure people need to have shared contempt. They can't stand up on their own. They don't have any actual thoughts or opinions that matter. And so there's this neuroscience of jealousy. It's this social comparison theory that's sitting out there waiting to be activated by people who just could never be like you. And so this bond that they have together is this negative bias group thinking. And the reticular activation system shows them this threat, but you're not the threat. And so therefore it filters to them all of their unhealed wounds, because you're a mirror of everything that they'll never be. And so their jealousy is actually proof that you have stepped into a timeline that they just can't access. They just don't have the ability to access the things that you can access. And so their rage and judgment, for me, it created a shadow integration. I started doing shadow work on why this was happening and why I was so just emotionally distraught over this. I mean, I'll be honest. Excuse me. It is spiritually malnourished people meeting a spiritually fed person, and their nervous system goes bazonkers. They couldn't stand that I was happy and alone and successful, and they can't stand something about you, but it doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with you, okay? And so they're mirroring their suppressed identity. It's not bullying, it's spiritual intuition, it's quantum identity shifting, it's timeline jumping, and you're shadowing to them all the things that they haven't and will never heal about themselves. So it's not bullying, it's biology, it's psychology, it's their shadow. And so your life becomes a mirror for people who abandon their own dreams. They couldn't understand how you did it. And so here is what I did in order to allow myself to be able to use this as something to actually create a bigger opportunity for myself, and I'm going to give it to you. I wrote down these 4 R's, okay? And it just came to my head like, okay, we're going to heal this, and then we're going to heal this, all right? So the first one, I want you to remember that if they're talking about you, you already won. You already won, okay? But first, let's recognize. The first R is recognize. Recognize that the jealousy feedback isn't danger. And the first part, it felt like a threat. It felt like danger. It felt like, oh my gosh, every time I go outside, everybody's picking me apart and everybody's doing all these things. But instead, I could recognize that the jealousy was just admiration, because envy is just admiration. And they're projecting onto you what they feel about themselves and what they think people would say if they tried to be what you are naturally. And then the second R was reframing. So we have to reframe the talk, because the trigger, the thing that triggered me was the abandonment, right? Because they had for me, it was abandonment. What did you trigger in them? Do they feel like they abandoned their dreams? Do they feel like they abandoned their possibility to live a free life and to be happy? Most likely. And so what is it that triggered you? First, identify it, then reframe it, and then you're going to reclaim it. The third R is reclaiming it. And that is using that energy as fuel to be even bolder, even louder, even stronger. Listen, honey. If it was summer, I would be naked every day walking up and down this street with my cellulite, as they would say. I have 10 pounds to lose, but if I had 15 pounds of cellulite, I'd never wear those booty shorts. They will be shorter. They will be higher, because what makes them so mad is that you're free. I love being Michelle Juanita Lamont. I really do. I love that I have survived so much. And with everything they were given, that's all they have. That's it. I was given nothing, and I'm still their neighbor. Okay? You're not the problem. You need to recognize, reframe, and reclaim so you can be bolder and stronger and even more powerful. And then you're going to redirect it. And for me, I was like, I'm going to move like the woman they wish they could be, because this is a manifestation tool. This is self-worth work. This is identity embodiment. This is quantum leaping at the highest level. When you move, when you become the person that you were destined to be, you'll lose those committed to being small. You can't be in the same timeline. So of course the universe was projecting and protecting. It was revealed to me at the perfect time. At the perfect time, because I was about to go to another party where they would have discussed the ornament that I brought. And this is actually the dress that I bought for the party. Wasn't going to be wearing this little number, but I was going to be wearing something else. But you know what? I'm just being my full fabulous self for you. And so you can see everything. All right. You're not meant for everyone. You're meant for your timeline. So those people who are gossiping, they're in their timeline. They're stuck in their energy. They could never, ever, ever be you, okay? And their gossip was your coronation. At first, it cracked me open to a complete halt. It was so hard. And that's why we have to understand the psychology behind it, or else we become a victim to it. And baby, you're no victim. You're the victor. Okay? And your power, natural power, whatever it is so out of alignment in their world that that's all they can do. Because I'm always going to be Michelle Juanita Lamont, always and in all ways. And when they talk about themselves, nobody would listen. So they have to talk about us because they don't have anything actually interesting to say. You're going to recognize it. You're going to reframe it. You're going to reclaim it, and you're going to redirect it. And it's not a misunderstanding. It's your fucking upgrade. Okay? It is your incarnation into a timeline that they will never have access to. You are so powerful, and you are doing every single thing right. The magic they don't, I know I represented the magic they don't believe in, the self-love they never tasted, the courage they buried, the identity they lost. Not because you're wrong, but because you're right, and not because you're evil, but because you're alive. The people who talk about you are always the ones who stopped choosing themselves a long time ago. And so all of a sudden you rise. When you rise, you will trigger people who are committed to staying small, okay? And when people talk about you, you're already winning. When they judge you, you're already rising. And when people envy you, you're already becoming, okay? And so this is an embodiment, this is a manifestation mindset, and this is shadow work integration. Welcome to your next quantum timeline, and welcome to your power. Those who cannot will always speak about those who can. All right, I love you so much. Just remember that their gossip wasn't about you. It was about the part of them that they gave up on. So we are going to recognize, reframe, reclaim, and redirect and move. I know I am the biggest, boldest, loudest version of myself and the woman that they only wish they could be. Now, people gossip about you, group chat, 7 months going, talking about you. So what? Everything is always working out for you. And let's close with that. 3, 2, 1. Everything is always working out for me. Everything is always working out for me. Everything is always working out for me. Us again. Everything is always working out for us. Everything is always working out for us. Everything is always working out for us. Everything. I love you. You are worthy. You are protected. Now, use this as a tool to get to your next level. You are worthy. My name is Michelle Juanita Lamont. This is Manifesting Miracles. And baby, let's give them something to talk about. But no revenge, because your revenge is your paper. All right, producers, cue that motherfucking music and let's do it again. Go listen to another episode. But most importantly, I want to see you in my next Zoom class. So go right here to my show notes and join SSOM. It's my Manifesting Miracles community, and it is worthy to hold your attention, and you will not nobody will be gossiping about you. Okay, baby? Nobody. We will support you. We will love you. We will help you level up. All right. My name is Michelle Juanita Lamont. You've been listening to Manifesting Miracles, the #1 podcast on transmuting energy. See you next time. Love you.